The Quran on deep seas and internal waves. Allah has said in the Quran,
أو كظلمات في بحر لجي يغشاه موج من فوقه موج من فوقه سحاب ظلمات بعضها فوق بعض إذا أخرج يده لم يكد يراها ومن لم يجعل الله له نورا فما له من نور.
Or, the unbeliever's state, is like the darkness in a deep sea. It is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds. Darknesses, one above another. If a man stretches out his hand, he cannot see it. Quran, 24:40. This verse mentions the darkness found in deep seas and oceans, where if a man stretches out his hand, he cannot see it. The darkness in deep seas and oceans is found around a depth of 200 meters and below. At this depth, there is almost no light. Below a depth of 1,000 meters there is no light at all. Human beings are not able to dive more than 40 meters without the aid of submarines or special equipment. Human beings cannot survive unaided in the deep dark part of the oceans, such as at a depth of 200 meters. Scientists have recently discovered this darkness by means of special equipment and submarines that have enabled them to dive into the depths of the oceans.
We are talking about normal ocean waves at the surface of the ocean, internal waves that essentially take place at boundaries between warmer, lighter water above and colder, heavier water below. Internal waves in the ocean are remarkably high. The boundary, say, between the upper and lower ocean at several hundred meters can move up and down 100 meters. But you'd never know about it at the surface. The surface expression of that is minute.
We can also understand from the following sentences in the previous verse, in a deep sea. It is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds. That the deep waters of seas and oceans are covered by waves, and above these waves are other waves. It is clear that the second set of waves are the surface waves that we see, because the verse mentions that above the second waves there are clouds. But what about the first waves? Scientists have recently discovered that there are internal waves which occur on density interfaces between layers of different densities. The internal waves cover the deep waters of seas and oceans because the deep waters have a higher density than the waters above them. Internal waves act like surface waves. They can also break, just like surface waves. Internal waves cannot be seen by the human eye, but they can be detected by studying temperature or salinity changes at a given location. How can a man living 1400 years ago in desert know this? And why would he mention this? Where did this knowledge come from? Was he a scientist? Did he just guess? How could an illiterate man who was a shepherd come up with a book in a society where 95% of the people were illiterate? Historians to this day can't explain how desert dwellers defeated the biggest empires of the time like the Romans and the Persians. How come this man is still followed to this day by billions? How come a book he brought is memorized by millions by heart?